Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Kodeations. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 5 different team comps that you should absolutely be building for the Cookie Alliance. Without further ado, let's dive right in. The very first comp here that we've got, and that's going to be talking about the speed meta comp. If you guys don't know, speed comps are actually very, very good, and they are OP for providing a ton of damage very, very fast. The speed meta comp here is essentially just made to do a ton of damage in a short window. As you can see here on the screen, mine is going to be currently under leveled, but it doesn't really make that big of a difference. There's only a certain amount of waves in the overall experience for Cookie Alliance that you utilize this team comp, but it does excel exactly at what it needs to do, and that's going to be to output damage even at a low-level attack score. You can see currently we've got only a 201,000 score, and not only that, a lot of my cookies here are going to be under-leveled. To give you guys an example of some overall toppings, we've got Mint Choco here. Mint's going to be running a full solid almond set, again, just to try to maintain the survivability. Pastry is going to be running the tried and true unleveled at this point searing raspberries, again trying to focus on as much damage resistance as you possibly can stack. Lilac here, again, we are going to be running a full searing raspberry set. Again, also for this, trying to be focusing on damage resistance. One big thing that you guys are going to know when it comes to topping sets and what you need for the Cookie Alliance, that's going to be damage resistance, guys. You need a bunch, and I mean a bunch of damage resistance. I know a ton of players that are climbing into the higher waves, and by higher meaning anything plus 21 in the Cookie Alliance. They are basically swapping out topping sets to the exact same set that they're currently running, but instead of focusing on any other substat, they're just putting in on the ones that give them the most damage resistance to add to the team survivability. And then last but not least here we've got, that's going to be Kumiho. As always, Kumiho is going to be running a full solid almond set again, and then last but not least we've also got, and that's going to be Madeline. I'm just going to be running a mix set here on Madeline. Again, 3 searing raspberries and 2 of the bouncy caramels. Again, these bouncy caramels are just going to be giving him a little bit more attack speed. If you guys don't know, man, Madeline is absolutely insane when it comes to running the attack speed comp. As far as overall treasures go, I'm going to be running the Scythe. I'm going to be running the Robe, again, increasing that crit percent and going to be increasing that speed. And then last but not least, the overall attack to make sure that they can do a megaton of damage. Now, officially moving on here to the second composition I want to talk about and highlight, and that's going to actually be the Summoner's Comp. The Summoner's Comp that I'm currently running right now in the Cookie Alliance that works really, really awesome, and that's going to be this composition here. I'm going to be running Hollyberry. Obviously, Hollyberry is going to be running a full solid almond set, again trying to focus on as much damage resistance to add to her survivability, especially because she is going to be a frontline unit. The next up we've got, that's going to be Pumpkin Pie. Again, full solid almonds, guys. You're going to be seeing solid almonds a lot, but nevertheless, again, you want Pon Pon to stay alive. You don't need to worry about cooldown with Pumpkin because, again, Pon Pon is pretty much going to stay alive guaranteed until the full duration of the cooldown anyway. So when you are ready to pop it off, you know it's already ready to go, and Pon Pon is still pretty much alive. Next up we've got, that's going to be Snow Sugar. Snow Sugar here is actually going to be running a mix set. I've got 3 searing raspberries and 2 of these solid almonds. Once again, trying to focus on some damage resistance. Mine's a little bit low currently, but it is going to be 18.1%. Again, just going to add to Snow Sugar's overall survivability without sacrificing too much attack on those 3 searing raspberries. Next one we've got, that's going to be Parfait. Again, very similar to my cotton cookie. I do normally run a mix set on cotton and on Parfait. Again, trying to just accumulate some damage resistance on top of accumulating some cooldown, because again, we want to make sure that Parfait is utilizing her skill as often as possible. And then last but not least, although I did just say that my cotton cookie should be running a mix set potentially, I'm currently running a full Swift set. Bear in mind here that this full Swift set on cotton cookie is purely for guild boss, and just because I don't want to spend the gold to swap out the toppings, I just can't be bothered with it. Naturally, if you are looking to build this though, I would honestly say try to build the best set that you can, and that is probably going to be a mix set for somebody like Cotton or something like the Cookie Alliance. And then last but not least here for the 3 different treasures, we've got obviously the scroll for the additional attack percent, the pin cushion, because again, the pin cushion is going to be giving us that additional attack and that additional summon duration on the summoned creatures. And with this being in a summoner's comp, naturally we've got to have that one. And then last but not least here, we've obviously got the Jelly Watch to just reduce the overall cooldown. A very, very good composition, can absolutely save you on specific waves like Wave 18, for instance. Now, officially diving in here to the third composition that I want to talk about, and I think this, in my personal opinion, is a very, very good one for something like the Cookie Alliance and specific stages, and one specifically with shields. And that team is basically going to be the one you see here, and that's going to be the Sauce Twizzly Comp. Guys, literally, this one is all about doing as much damage as it possibly can, utilizing crit percent, but also going to be a team that allows you to mitigate or strip the enemy's shields from them in specific waves. There's specific waves in this game mode where the enemy has a shield. Utilizing Twizzly's skill will take those shields away and allow you to just easily melt it down that unit. So again, very, very good team composition. As far as overall toppings go, obviously starting off here with Twizzly, the star of this composition, we are going to be running nothing but a full set of the jelly apple or juicy jelly apples, okay? We really just want to try to maximize as much crit percent as we possibly can, because again, that's going to be what her skill is based off of. Currently, I'm running 52% crit just based on the topping set alone. Next up we've got, and that's going to be the brand new buffed version of Cream Puff, and also we're going to be running another full set of juicy apple jellies, trying to focus in on as much crit percent, because again, once again, her skill is actually going to be catered to that. I'm actually going to get a level up here to maximize her skill. I just threw Mango in here because, again, I just wanted to provide another AoE damage dealer, and all of my big, hard-hitting damage dealers, things like, you know, Sea Fairy, was already taken up with another composition. So I just went with whatever the next option is, and I just went with Mango because I am getting a slight attack boost as well. In this slot, you could obviously run an Espresso, you could run something like a Squid Ink, you could pretty much run anything here, but again, just know that I'm utilizing it just for AoE. And for Mango Cookie, obviously you just run a full Searing Raspberry set, focusing on, again, a little bit of damage resistance as you can get from your toppings, and then obviously the overall attack percent. Next up we've got, and that's going to be Mala Sauce. Mala Sauce here is a frontline unit, so you do want to be focusing in on running as much solid almonds to get as much damage resistance as you possibly can. Again, I know you want to utilize the skill as often as possible, and you think maybe running some Swifts or a mix set. You could obviously argue a mix set, but I definitely wouldn't focus on running a full Swift set, because again, I think a full Swift set would just be too, you know, weak for the overall game mode, and it probably would die off very early, which then would make this, you know, pretty much composition fail. Last one we got, and that's going to be none other than Coco Cookie. We're going to be utilizing Coco, again, just as a frontline unit here. Add some support with the individual healing on top of the overall tankiness that she could potentially provide, and the immune to stun, which again is very, very nice. So naturally, we're going to be running a full Swift set here on her, because we want to make sure that she is utilizing her skill as often as possible to take advantage of that additional healing and obviously the stun resist. And then as far as overall treasures go, we're going to be running the scroll for the additional attack percent. We're going to be running the scythe for the additional crit percent, again going hand in hand with, you know, all three of these cookies, Mala Sauce, Twizzly, and Cream Puff. And then last but not least, we are going to be running that Jelly Watch just to add to the overall cooldown. And then officially diving in here to the fourth team we've got for you guys today, and that's going to bring us to a single target boss team. It's very, very important to have one of these teams as your options of the 5 that you can build for Cookie Alliance, because there are bosses. And for this specific team comp or single target damage dealing comp, this is going to be what I have put together and works very well. Starting us off here, we've got none other than DC. DC is going to be running a full solid almond set. Now, I specifically say that as I'm running a full searing set. Once again, though, this is going to be my topping sets that I currently am running in the guild boss, and I just couldn't be bothered with swapping it over. But solid almonds is absolutely the best way to go here for Dark Choco. Just understand that, you know, I'm currently running Searing Raspberries from the guild. Next up we've got here, and that's going to be Licorice Cookie. Licorice is running, as always, a full Swift chocolate set. You want to make sure that they have as much cooldown as possible to make sure that the minions are going to be on the field 24/7 to take advantage of that, and also the defense buff that he's going to be also providing. Next up we've got, and that's going to be Sorbet Shark. Sorbet is going to be running a full Searing Raspberry set. Nothing too crazy here. We do have a couple of different substats on him currently, but ideally you want to focus on additional damage resistance and cooldown, so you can utilize the skill often, the additional attack, and then also, you know, the survivability. Next one we got, and that's going to be Vampire. Vampire here, again, very similar to Sorbet, is going to be running Searing Raspberries, just focusing in on as much attack as you possibly can. With him having the ability to heal himself, its damage resistance isn't as, crucial, but still something that you're going to be wanting to stack up if you do get it in a substat. And then last but not least here, we are going to be running Herb Cookie. Now, Herb Cookie here, again, is just pretty much here for the additional healing and the cleanse. If you happen to get any debuffs being applied, you can utilize Herb to cleanse them off, but we're not really looking for a cleanse as much as we are just looking for an additional healer that wasn't already taken up on another team. That's why we're going to be running that. And then as far as all three treasures go, we've got the scroll for additional attack. We've got the additional Jelly Watch here for the additional cooldown. And then last but not least, we are going to be running that monocle. And if you guys don't know, the monocle pretty much is going to be providing us additional healing. Again, it does give you the ability to cleanse, but we're not looking for the cleanse as much as we are looking for the additional healing to aid Herb when it comes to things like boss stages where your survivability is absolutely crucial. And then now officially diving into the fifth and final composition we've got for you guys today, and that's going to be a mixed hand bag of whatever your best cookies are for a general AoE composition. And for me, I pretty much landed on this team comp based on everything else that I can currently build. I went ahead and threw, Strawberry Crepe in here again as a frontline unit to help provide some damage mitigation as a tank, but also to utilize the overall shields that are being provided. When it comes to utilizing Strawberry Crepe, I am just going to be running a full Swift Chocolate set. You could potentially run a full Solid Almond set with an emphasis on getting additional substats in cooldown. I just didn't have that ability. I didn't have any solid almonds left that I had leveled up, but I did have Swift Chocolate. So I went ahead and threw those on them for the time being. Next one up we've got, and that's going to be Sea Fairy. Once again, I am running a awkward, weird set. I'm running, pretty much 4 Searing Raspberries to get the, 3 set bonus, but then I'm also running 1 Swift Chocolate, and that Swift Chocolate specifically is going to be utilized just for, absolutely just going to be for the cooldown. That's it. Nothing else, but I'm utilizing that for that reason, again, based on my arena build, not so much here for the Cookie Alliance, but it does work here just fine. The next one up we've got, and that's going to be Eclair. Eclair, once again, I'm going to be running a full Searing Raspberry set to just maximize the damage output that he can absolutely do. Try to focus in on as much damage resistance as you can via substats. Outside of that, you don't really need to worry about the cooldown per se as much as you do the damage resistance in the attack for something like the Cookie Alliance. The next up we've got here, and that's going to be none other than Frost Queen. Frost Queen here is going to be running a Searing Raspberry set. Again, very simple here. We're just running to maximize the attack, maximize damage resistance as possible, cooldown if you got it. Again, Frost Queen's not good on boss stages, so just keep that in mind, but that's going to be why we're kind of putting them in like a catch, all AoE team. Last but not least, we do, and that's going to be Pure Vanilla Cookie. I'm currently utilizing the standard, a full Swift Chocolate set on Pure Vanilla. I will say that a full Solid Almond set with an emphasis on cooldown is probably the safer route to go to his survivability. But again, it really depends on your team composition, what you've got built around him, and not only that, running with him with somebody like Strawberry Crepe does make it a little bit more viable to utilize him on Swift. As far as the 3 treasures goes, we've got the Revive Feather here, in case if somebody happens to die, the Scroll for the additional attack, and then last but not least, we've got, and that's going to be the Jelly Watch. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude today's video. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Guys, I cover literally everything on Cookie Run Kingdom here on the channel, so if you don't want to miss out, definitely hit that subscribe button. Also, if you have any additional questions pertaining to these 5 compositions or anything else in the game, I invite you guys to join the Discord. The link's provided down below in the description. And with that being said, as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.